My little children for whom I labor in birth again, until Christ is formed in you. Imagine that to form Christ in you, you know what it is? And after it's formed, you're on the other side of the lake. Oof, when Christ is formed in you, then, listen, there is no trial on this earth that can be against you. There aren't any economical or physical situation that comes against you. But to form Christ in the life of someone is the most marvelous thing. Because it's that, in fact, the gospel is for salvation, to save yourself from yourself. Notice what Paul says to this church in verse, right there in chapter 4, but from 9 to verse 11. But now, after you have known God, but he corrected himself quickly, because you didn't come to know God. God appeared to you. That's why he says, or rather, are known by God, because the free will, that don't exist. How is it that you turn again to the weak and worthless rudiments? Look how the law is, weak and poor. There are people that leave here to the weak and poor, and that's how they wind up, weak and poor. To which you desire again to be in bondage? You observe days and months and seasons and years. I am afraid for you, lest I have labored for you in vain. How sad, right? This church in Galatia, Paul already was losing hope. I fear that I've wasted my time here. I preach grace in vain. They didn't simulate the grace because of the influence of the apostles. And that work, not only here, but through the cameras, we have many blessed that have been engendered already, but in the process of forming the baby, the Pentecostal appears and says, be careful that in the last days they're going to be false prophets, false teachers, be careful. So then with that, though the person has been engendered, he tends to be present that concern to the local pastor. And the pastor has to be careful as Christ is being formed in that Christian or in that believer. And the idea is to hear, because Christ is formed through the ear. What happens is that everything has a process. And in your life, there is a process. And he is dealing with you. And woe if there's an abortion in your mind. Don't abort. Hold the baby there until it's born. That Christ is being formed in you. And when that happens, you're going to be the happiest person on earth if you're not yet content, because nothing can come against you. There is no situation you cannot overcome.